He would rather be dead than divorced, Sabrina said. This wasn't just an idle sentiment, it was a deadly ultimatum. For Robert Limon, losing his wife wasn't an option. It was a fate worse than death. So, when a forbidden love kindled between Sabrina and another man, the choice was clear. Either Robert would lose everything, or someone else would. The quiet community of Silver Lakes had no warning when it was torn apart by gunfire on a hot August day. Investigation into this shocking event will go on to revealing a tangled web of faith, betrayal, and cold-blooded murder that no one saw coming. What began as a tragic death soon revealed itself as a carefully orchestrated plot, conceived in the shadows and fueled by lust and desperation. The case of Robert Limon would expose a web of manipulation and deceit that no one saw coming. Robert Limon was often referred to as Rob by his loved ones. He had tattoos on his back, and coupled with his huge stature, he looked scary. But those who knew him and stuck around him a long time knew he was a gentle soul, loving and kind. Nothing of what his physique told. Rob and Sabrina met and instantaneously kicked it off. Both were very religious and would often attend mass services together every Sunday. Their faith was really important, and it was eminent. In 2000, they got baptized and later exchanged vows in the same church in Arizona with their family and friends, in attendance, cheering them all the way. Over the years, the matrimony produced 2 issues, and they were dedicated to raising these kids. After some time, the couple decided to relocate to Silver Lakes, California, which was 99 miles away from Los Angeles. Sabrina was a housewife taking care of her kids, while Robert worked in BNSF Railway. He loved his job so much, and his bosses were happy with his job ethics, commitment, and ability to perform tasks without supervision. Although the area was known for larceny and posed a significant threat to his safety, he shrugged it off. Because why not? Have you seen Robert Limon? His size and strength gave him confidence to ward off attackers in the case he ever encountered any intruders. Rob was the life of the party. He and Sabrina had an active social life, and they threw parties frequently at their homes. They had a lot of friends from the parties, big personalities. Everybody loved the couple. They were like teenagers who found love for the first time. Many couples even envied them because of their visible show of affection they never hid. In the quaint community of Silver Lakes, Sabrina and Robert Limon were the center of attention. Known as the It Couple, they gained a reputation for hosting lively parties filled with drinks for their close-knit circle of friends, referred to as the Wolf Pack. One of those couples that attended most of their parties was Jason Bernatine, a firefighter, and his wife, Kelly, a hairdresser. They had a lot to drink at these parties and had a mantra: "It's 5 o'clock somewhere." It was motivation that kept them binge drinking at these parties. Sabrina and Robert Limon, seeking more excitement in their lives, decided to open their marriage to other couple in 2008. They went on adult vacations, boating, and partied a lot at the North Lake. Sabrina's sister, Julie Cordova, told 2020 that Sabrina eventually grew tired of the open marriage and wanted the couple to go back to church. But her husband didn't want anything to change. Cordova also mentioned that Sabrina was drinking excessively, which made her numb. In 2012, Sabrina met Jonathan Hearn, a firefighter, while working part-time at Costco. They got intimate, and their shared Christian faith even made the bond stronger. Soon they began having an affair behind Robert's back. When Robert discovered intimate texts on his wife's phone, he demanded that Sabrina end the affair, but she didn't. Instead, according to Hearn, they planned to take him out of the picture. On August 17, 2014, the peaceful atmosphere of the BNSF rail yard in Tahachapi, California, was shattered by the sound of gunshots. Robert Limon, a hard-working employee, was found dead in a pool of blood, his body found beside his truck. At first, investigators believed it was a robbery gone wrong, as Robert's wallet and phone were missing. However, as the investigations unfolds, they realize that there was more to the story than a simple botched robbery. Robert was well liked by everyone, and no one could imagine any reason why someone would want to kill him. As the pieces of the puzzle started to come together, it became evident that the murder was not a random act of violence, but a carefully planned and executed plot, fueled by jealousy and betrayal. The detectives scoured the area for surveillance cameras near the rail yard where Robert Limon had been brutally murdered. Footage from the night of the murder showed an unknown man limping around the area, his face concealed by a hood and scarf. The mysterious figure seemed to be acting suspiciously, checking his surroundings before disappearing into Rob's workspace. As the investigation continued, detectives obtained surveillance video from a nearby company that showed Robert Limon on the road that led to his office on the day of his death. Multiple vehicles could be seen on the road, but one in particular caught the detectives' attention. A man on a motorcycle, wearing a helmet and a red bandana to hide his identity. All the other motorists were identified, but the identity of that particular motorcyclist remained a mystery to be unraveled. Friends of the California couple were stunned when, just 2 weeks after Robert Limon's mysterious shooting death in 2014, his wife Sabrina received a sympathetic visit, flowers, and a heartfelt letter from Jonathan Hearn, the same man who would later confess to conspiring with Sabrina to orchestrate Robert's murder. As revealed in an exclusive Dateline NBC episode, Jason Bernatine recalled his wife Kelly's shocking revelation. "You'll never guess who visited Sabrina last night? Jonathan. I couldn't believe it." This encounter left Jason and Kelly perplexed, foreshadowing the dark twist that would soon unravel. Light was thrown in the midst of this murder puzzle in the form of a tip from Jason Bernatine, a friend of the Limon family. He informed detectives that he had received a strange voicemail from a man named Jonathan Hearn, who seemed to be very apologetic for Rob's death. This new lead put Hearn on the detectives' radar for the first time and changed the course of the investigation. Although Hearn's record was clean, his clandestine relationship raised eyebrows among loved ones, ultimately catching the attention of authorities. Probing further, detectives uncovered Hearn's ownership of firearms, matching the murder weapon's description, and a motorcycle resembling the one captured on surveillance footage near the crime scene on the fateful day, further fueling curiosity. Further digging into Hearn's background revealed that he and Sabrina Limon had been having an affair, which had started at a Costco where Sabrina worked part-time. Bonding over their shared Christian faith, they had carried on the illicit relationship behind Robert's back. When Robert had discovered the intimate texts between the two, he demanded that Sabrina end the affair, but she continued to see Hearn in secret. As detectives go deeper into the affair, they received permission to wiretap the phones of Sabrina and Hearn. The conversations revealed a complex web of deceit and manipulation, with both parties invoking God and the Bible in their exchanges. Hearn compared their situation to that of King David and Bathsheba from the Old Testament, where David had Bathsheba's husband killed in order to be with her. His exact words were, "David is a lot like you and I, Sabrina. He was someone who made a lot of big mistakes, and pretty much had him killed off to cover his sin." Despite the lack of overt admissions of guilt, the phone calls painted a suspicious picture of the couple. In one conversation, Sabrina mentioned that Detective Robert Meyer wanted to speak with her about her husband's death, prompting Hearn to break out into prayer for her composure and clarity of thought. His exact replies were, "God, please help us just to be wise. Help Sabrina to have the right words. Please keep her calm. I ask you for clarity of thought." "Amen," Sabrina responded. Hearn appeared to express remorse for their affair, as well as potentially for Robert's murder. It's our conscience that bothers us when we recognize the dirty, rotten people that we've been. And God, we're sorry for that. Amen, Hearn said. As the investigation progressed, the detectives couldn't shake the feeling that there was more to the affair than met the eye. The twisted love triangle between Sabrina, Robert, and Hearn seemed to be at the heart of the case, with the motive for murder slowly coming into focus. Was Robert killed so that Sabrina could be with Hearn, leaving behind the sin of adultery? The mystery surrounding Robert Lyman's murder continued to unfold, with each new piece of evidence bringing the detectives closer to the truth. It was discovered that Robert Lyman had an insurance policy worth $300,000. The money the detectives alleged she wanted to use to run her daily activities with her new lover, if not caught. Sabrina denied this, claiming the money was put in a savings account to help run her children's welfare. As the investigation neared its conclusion, the tangled web of lies, betrayal, and murder would reveal a shocking and tragic ending to a story of love gone horribly wrong. And the man on the motorcycle, his identity finally revealed, would be the key to unlocking the truth behind the murder that had shaken a small community to its core. In a breakthrough move, detectives apprehended Hearn and Sabrina on November 18, 2014, in connection with Robert's slaying. A thorough search of Hearn's premises yielded a motorcycle matching surveillance footage, a helmet and red bandana fitting witness descriptions, a backpack and receipts potentially tying Hearn to the crime scene. Consequently, Hearn faced murder charges, while Sabrina was freed due to insufficient evidence linking her to the crime. She adamantly denied having any involvement in her husband's death after a 4-hour interrogation session. She was careful not to implicate herself and insisted she had nothing to do with it. After she returned, she faced a backlash from her friends and the neighbors around. The community that enjoyed their parties and looked up to them as exemplary couples to imitate now wanted nothing to do with her. They harassed and sent threat messages to her till she removed her children from school. It became worse until she made the decision to leave Silver Lakes. In a stunning reversal on the brink of trial, Jonathan Hearn, Sabrina's former lover and alleged accomplice, turned against her on the eve of trial, agreeing to testify in exchange for a reduced 25-year sentence. This betrayal sent Sabrina reeling. At trial, as the prosecution's star witness, Jonathan Hearn admitted to killing Robert Lyman and alleged Sabrina helped him plan it, after she rejected Hearn's suggestion to divorce her husband. As Hearn took the stand, his testimony implicated Sabrina in Robert's murder, detailing a failed attempt to poison Robert's banana pudding with arsenic and how Sabrina had helped him plan the fatal attack at the BNSF facility in Tahachapi. Sabrina's heart sank as she listened to the damning testimony, feeling as though her world was falling apart around her. She expressed that Robert would honestly rather be dead than divorced, Hearn testified, adding that he prayed right before murdering the father of two. I specifically remember praying, seeking that purpose I had set out to find. It was inevitable that Rob needed to die for Sabrina and I to move forward with our relationship, he said during the trial. Sabrina's defense countered that Hearn's plea deal motivated him to deceive and commit perjury on the stands, planting seeds of doubt in the minds of the jury. Throughout the trial, wiretapped conversations between Sabrina and Hearn were played for the court. Sabrina explained that she had trusted Hearn, believing that he was simply looking out for her best interests. She never imagined that he would betray her in such a devastating way, using her own words against her to secure a lighter sentence for himself. Her attorney, Richard Terry, seeded doubt about Hearn's credibility. After emotional testimony from Sabrina denying involvement, the jury deliberated for 6 hours before delivering a guilty verdict on all counts. Despite protests of innocence, Sabrina received 25 years to life, plus an additional 16 months. Jonathan received the terms of his plea deal, 25 years, 4 months. However, Jonathan's conviction for manslaughter sparked controversy, with a lesser sentence fueling speculation. He apologized to the family of Robert Lyman and showed remorse to his friends and loved ones for his untimely demise on his sentence hearing. The 2018 conviction of Sabrina Lyman sent shockwaves through the courtroom. As the jury delivered their verdict, the mother of two stood emotionless, her composure cracking the show of innocence. Charges of first-degree murder, attempted murder, solicitation, and conspiracy left onlookers aghast. Sentenced to 25 years to life, Sabrina vowed to fight for her innocence. Though convicted, Sabrina held on to hope that the truth would surface, determined to uncover the real story behind Robert's murder. Refusing to be defined by her conviction, she clung to her innocence. Months later, she filed for an appeal, but the lower court's decision was upheld. Sabrina's appeal again for a petition to review her conviction and a new trial was denied this time by the California Supreme Court. The mystery of her motivations lingered. What drove this seemingly ordinary woman to commit such extraordinary acts? The courtroom dramas, the wiretaps, the confessions, they all felt like fragments of a terrible dream. Yet, for the family of Robert Lyman, it was painfully real. Their son, brother, and father was gone, and his memory was tangled in a web of scandal and unanswered questions. To this day, Robert's children, now growing up with a fractured sense of their parents, would be forced to go through the shadow of a murder that defined their lives before they were old enough to fully understand it. Jonathan Hearn, serving a reduced sentence after his cooperation with the prosecution, faded into the obscurity of prison life. He had confessed, prayed, and expressed remorse, yet the complexities of his involvement left many unanswered questions. Did he love Sabrina, or was he simply drawn to the fun of their forbidden affair? In his mind, was he justified, even righteous, in the steps he took to free her from her marriage? The mystery of his motives is yet to be figured out, even as he became just another inmate. Sabrina's appeals would be denied, her petitions for a new trial rejected by court after court. The California Supreme Court upheld her conviction, and her case was quietly closed. Yet, in the small corners of Silver Lakes, whispers still circulated about what had truly happened, whether Sabrina had been the mastermind behind her husband's murder, or if she had fallen prey to Hearn's influence. Some believed she had been manipulated, a woman under the sway of a lover who had promised her a future filled with the love and excitement she had long sought. But for the families, friends, and community members left behind, the damage was irreparable. The once beloved couple, whose love and social life had been the envy of many, had become a tragic example of how easily devotion can slip into destruction. The Lyman children would grow up with questions they could never truly answer. The faith that had once bound Rob and Sabrina had become an ironic twist in the story, a moral thread that held none of the peace it promised, only the chilling reminder of how easily ideals could be warped into justifications for betrayal and murder. As the years wore on, the sensational headlines faded, but the darkness of the story never left those who had known the Lymans. Was this a crime born of love, lust, or something darker? In the end, the case of Robert Lyman's murder was a haunting story that left more questions than answers, a case of faith, passion, and deceit, where the boundary between good intentions and deadly actions was crossed in ways that would never be fully understood. As we close this tragic story, we're left with questions that go beyond the crime itself, reaching into our own lives. How far would you go for love? And at what point does loyalty become obsession? Can faith be a source of strength without becoming a justification for darker choices? And how well do we truly know the people closest to us? Is there a point when trust becomes dangerous? And how do we recognize that line before it's too late? Let us know your thoughts in the comments. Do you think justice was served in this case? Or is there more to the story that remains hidden? If you found this story as gripping as we did, Don't forget to subscribe and turn on notifications so you never miss an episode. We have more chilling tales to unravel in upcoming episodes, so stay tuned for the next mystery in our true crime series.